Hello, everybody. This is Daniel. I am your host. This is your One Shot Health and Fitness podcast. I'd like to thank you all for being here and listening or watching, whatever view you are on, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or whatever other outlets I don't even know about. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, no matter how you do it. As I said before, this is your One Shot Health and Fitness podcast. I am your host, and this is my first show. If you know me, you know that I have for literally years wanted to get this podcast off the ground, and it just simply has not started. For years, I've struggled with and grappled with why that is. And I think over the last several weeks and several months, I might have gotten to a place where perhaps I understand why. I think there's two reasons. One of the reasons is that I have been trying to bite off more than I can chew. A lot of us do that at the dinner table as well. But with regards to a podcast, I think that I have been trying to make it big. I've been trying to make it the full meal deal. All the things, lots of fade ins, lots of fade outs, different segments to keep you guys interested. A full hour, if you will, maybe 45 minutes. And it's all been very overwhelming. And because of that, it's just never happened. And so after I got to that realization that that's why it's never happened, I thought to myself, well, maybe I should just make it smaller. Maybe I should make it less. And it was my wife, Tirza, that stimulated that thought process in my head, because she had started talking about just doing quick and easy podcasts over her phone. And also, if you've trained with me, you've known that I have had this podcasting equipment sitting upstairs in the adjacent room to the training room for quite some time. And so because Tirza was talking about doing just small, spur-of-the-moment phone ones, I started thinking to myself, well, maybe I should just start with simple ones. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to go into some form of broadcasting. I've always thought that the radio would be a lot of fun, doing a radio bit. And so podcasting is simple. Anybody can do it. And so here we are. Also, I named it Your One Shot Podcast because we only get one shot at this life. We only get one opportunity at this life to make it count. And a lot of us really struggle with making it count. And there are people out there that squander this one opportunity, this one shot at making life count. And so with regards to health and fitness, and I think it's probably just going to morph into with regards to all over just life, let's make this one shot count. The second reason that I think that I haven't started this podcast is simply this. Several years ago, I was listening to a podcast by Gretchen Rubin, and it was all about living better. I think that actually might have been the name of it. I'm not 100% sure, but she talked about something that really struck a chord with me, and that was the one coin loophole. If you haven't heard of the one coin loophole, you might have also heard of it as the argument of the growing heap. And that argument is that one coin does not make a heap. One coin does not make somebody wealthy. But it's one coin after another that slowly builds into a heap, and that creates wealth. The reason that Gretchen Rubin calls it the one coin loophole is that because we use that argument of the growing heap, we use it as an out. We use it as an excuse basically to never grow the heap, because we look at it as one coin is not necessarily going to make the heap. So why does it matter? One time that you go to the gym is not going to make you fit. So why should I go today? Why not tomorrow? What that turns into is that you never go to the gym. that you never put the effort in to going to the gym. And yes, I will admit that only one time going to the gym is not going to make you fit. Even 1 month is not going to make you fit. But what we need to do is we need to start one coin at a time. In the large scope of things, one coin doesn't make a difference. But as I have learned over the last 2 years of not doing this podcast, is that if you put it off for one day turns into a week, 1 week turns into a month, 1 month turns into a year, 1 year turns into, to my shame, almost 3 years. I've put off doing this podcast one day at a time for almost 3 years. And granted, there were reasons that I put it off, and all those reasons sound phenomenal. All the reasons that I've put off doing the podcast were great at the time. But having looked back on it, I realized that one day at a time, I have put off this podcast for 3 years. Something that I really want to do, something that I'm driven to do, something that I enjoy doing. Right now, even as I'm recording this, I'm enjoying it. I love sitting behind the mic. I don't know how I feel about the camera staring at me, but I love sitting behind the mic. So now, not only have I put this off for almost 3 years, but now it's sad to me that I've put this off for almost 3 years, because if I would have started when I first wanted to, who knows what it would be today. Instead, I'm just starting today. It's the same thing with health and fitness. We put off our health and fitness because we think, well, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. I'm tired today, I'll go tomorrow. Well, I'll have these chips today. I won't have any chips tomorrow, but I'll have them today. I'll have this soda today. I'll go out to eat today. I won't have any tomorrow, but I will today. I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I'll start next year. I'll start when the kids go back to school. I'll start when the kids get out of school. I'll start when the kids grow up, when they graduate, when they leave the house. Day after day, month after month, year after year, we use the one coin loophole. We think to ourselves, one time is not going to make me look and feel the way that I want to, so I might as well start tomorrow. So I would challenge you today, what is that one thing that you're using the one coin loophole for? What is that one thing you're using the one coin loophole for that is stealing your one shot? What is that thing that is stealing your one shot at this life and the things that you really, really, really want to do? Now, let's be completely honest. I know, and it's hitting me in a very dramatic way, that the last 3 years of my life, I will never get back. I will never get the potential of what this podcast could have been back. Now, I'm not saying that in a way that I'm upset or depressed by that, because I'm always looking forward. You always have to look forward. But what I am saying is that we only get one shot. And so what is it in your life that you're not doing right now because of the one coin loophole that you're not going to get that time back? It's a very sobering question, and if we're really honest with ourselves, it's a very excuse me. It's a very sobering question, and if we're honest with ourselves, it's a very difficult question to reconcile within us. But every day that we don't reconcile that is another day, another month, and another year that we will never get back in this one life that we have to live. And it's another day, it's another month, and it's another year that we're not doing what we really want to be doing. And so I encourage you all through this podcast, through this first short 10, 12-minute podcast, to really look at yourself and really look at your choices and find out what it is that you're using the one coin loophole for. What are you making an excuse for? Are you making an excuse not to go to the gym? Are you making an excuse not to eat right? Are you making an excuse not to exercise or take care of yourself? Are you making an excuse not to get quality time with your spouse or your partner? Are you making the excuse not to get quality time with your kids? What things in your lives are you making the excuse and using the one coin loophole to not do? Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we only get one shot. That's why I named this podcast your One Shot Health and Fitness Podcast. We only get one try. We only get one opportunity to make this life great. I would encourage you all to be honest with yourselves, to think about it. What are you using the one coin loophole for? And what could you be doing differently? Thank you, everybody, for listening. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Daniel. I am your host. This is your One Shot Health and Fitness Podcast. As always, train hard, eat healthy, and above all else, be blessed.